Hi, I'm André.
I'm Jesus.
And welcome to another episode of the Let's Go to the Movies podcast, the podcast where you don't know what movie we're talking about until you start listening. And every week we have a different guest that comes on and we talk about one of their favorite movies. So if you want to be a guest, you can fill out the form that's on my TikTok bio, it's on my Instagram, and we'll have it on our accounts as well for the podcast. So follow us at lgttm.podcast. And give us a follow on Spotify or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to listen to us every week. Anyways, this week, if you looked at the title, we're talking about
Rural Sci-fi Thrillers.
So this week what we've done is we actually invited my roommate, Laura Pohl, onto the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, Laura is the jumpiest person that I know. And for some reason, her favorite movie is the one that we're talking about. Or one of her favorite movies is the one that we're talking about. And that movie is M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. This was such a fun movie to watch with Laura just because she was so scared so much. But she said she's seen it like 8 times.
I've seen it like 8 times, but it's just like I've seen, I mean, I've told you about like which horror movies I've seen. I've seen, a handful. I don't like them that much, so I don't watch a lot. But this movie, like, it is by far this, it's not even, you don't even say it's a horror movie, but it's the scariest movie I've ever seen. Every single time.
Really?
Every single time, like, I am just so scared the whole time.
I don't know, what parts exactly are the ones that get you most of the time?
Everything.
Like in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say this is what I was telling André. There are scenes in this movie, I've seen this movie, 8 to 10 times, and there are scenes that I've never seen, actually, because I am literally like curled up, like with my hands over my eyes, like, because I am I can't watch it. So the scene, the knife scene, that one I've never watched in full.
Oh, okay.
That's probably the main one, and then even as I was watching, I've watched a lot of like analyses, whatever, videos about this movie, and I still like it when they just play little clips and they're talking. Sorry, when they play little clips and they're talking over them, like I just like, oh my god, and I can't, like, I'll cover my eyes because it scares me so bad every time, and that's one of the reasons why I just think this movie is so well done, because it just like it gets me the same way every single time, like it did the first time.
And you did say before you were coming on that you were watching a film analysis that really irked your nerves.
Yes. Did you
want to say something about that?
Well, okay,
no,
we'll
I
get
didn't.
to that. Okay. Well, the first thing I want to do is I really want to hear because you haven't seen this in a while. You haven't.
It was the wrong movie. I was thinking about another movie whenever I was watching it.
So this is the first time you saw it, right?
It is the first time I saw it, yes.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
I'm really interested in knowing what you thought of it.
Let me just say right off the bat, it did the same thing that most of those other movies do that I usually don't like, how they reveal like the antagonist or like the main thing that they're going against at the very end usually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I think they did that in one of the Godzilla movies too, and I think in one movie he barely even came out. You just kind of get a glimpse of it. I hate when movies do that, but this one time they actually did it pretty well. In the beginning, whenever you see that shadow, or the thing, and it just like disappears whenever they start chasing it. I don't like.
Oh
I don't like that.
God.
That looks creepy.
I know.
It was a good movie. I liked it.
Okay, good.
And I told this to André a little before the podcast started. They have so much of an emphasis on these half-finished cups that she just leaves around. That I think with the daughter, right?
Oh, we're gonna get into it. Don't even worry.
That's
You have
like
so much
it's
prepared.
It's normal. Like I do that all the time. Like it's just, I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting how they get such a mundane thing and put like they bring it into attention like that. The ending was pretty good too.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
I don't really want to discuss it right now because I want to see what you guys have to say with it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but what was that?
Give it a rate out of 10. What would you say?
Out of 10.
Oh, God. We're doing this now.
Oh.
Out of all of the sci-fi and horror movies that I'm going to compare it to, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty much in agreement with Jesus. 8.5, 9
in that area.
Like kind of where I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I was judging you for wanting to do out of 10. We did that last week. We really did that with Batman Forever. So we'll just continue doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 8.5 to 9 for me personally as well. Like that's, yeah. This is the third, maybe the fourth time I've seen this movie, and it's still phenomenal. Like I just love it. It's one of the few. It's like one of the good ones from M. Night Shyamalan, because it's like he's got the 3 first ones he made. I think Signs is one of the first ones as well.
Didn't
amazing,
he direct?
And then it's just shit, and then Split came out, and The Visit, which were better, and then so we were lucky to get Signs at the period that M. Night Shyamalan was still really good.
I personally, I'm not really a film nerd like you guys.
Wow.
But,
okay.
But so I don't know a lot about the whole.
I'd say it's more André than me.
The M. Night Shyamalan arc or whatever. I don't know a whole lot about that.
I don't know either, but
yeah, I watched this thing earlier in preparation for this episode. I watched this hour-long sort of like behind the scenes making of Signs thing.
Okay.
So I learned a lot about like how he, his thought process and his just like every little thing that he did that put into this movie and everything, which was interesting. And a little disappointing to know that he's kind of shit now. So
yeah.
Wait, in terms of person?
Oh no. In terms of movie making, I don't know that much about him as a person. Except for he's like
in movie making, we'll find out so shortly. Like this summer, his newest movie's coming out.
What is that?
I am praying that it's going to be good. It sounds so cool. It's called Old, and the premise is supposed to be.
Oh, that
this,
was cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this family that goes to like this beach vacation, and they find out that like their entire lives have been shortened to one day, and they're aging rapidly. That sounds so interesting, and he could, if he does it well, he can pull it off magnificently. As long as he doesn't pull some lady in the water, The Village, The Happening, Avatar bullshit that he was doing with those movies. If you like
Avatar, no, it was called The Last Airbender, right? It doesn't even have the word Avatar in it.
Oh, it's just called The Last Airbender. You're right.
Yeah.
But we're not going to
do an episode on that. We should do an episode.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, and I don't want to ruin the show for me.
You should watch it.
Okay. But anyways, like back to Signs though, like that movie, I really more noticed it this time around because the last time I saw it before preparation for this podcast was on a plane, and there you can't really focus on it. It's just kind of like
it's like a passive listening.
Go through your brain to like waste time on a flight. But this time around, I was like, wow, this movie has so many well-placed shots, and it's just fantastic. Funny enough, it was a lot of the moments of jump scares that Laura just wasn't watching, that she was like closing her eyes for, that I was like, dang, that's such a good shot. That's such an awesome way that they revealed that. Where, like, for example, the scene that Laura's never seen with the knife reflecting under the door.
I know what it is, and I've seen bits and bits through my hands.
Exactly, but like it was so funny because she wasn't watching it, but I was like so enthralled because it was so well done. Like the slow reveal, like of course the horror movie thing of something isn't there, they go away, they come back, now it's there. That was expected, but you didn't expect to see like the hand coming out from under that door, and that specific shot of the hand coming out, that was like just, at least from watching it in that brief like 2-second shot, it looked like just a real hand with like prosthetics on it and stuff. So it was like real, and it was like visceral, just coming at you like that. And it was so cool because then it's just like quick cuts, and then you just see the fingers chopped off and that high pitched scream, everything. And then that's like the end of that moment, and just everything is tied up perfectly. And then same with the scene with, you see the leg go into the corn. Is that of the night.
That's before? Oh, sorry, wait.
That's earlier.
That's like, okay. That's like the second. I was trying to place that scene in my head.
That's the second moment that we see them.
Because I also want to say it's interesting how Graham, the dad, Mel Gibson, like sees the leg in the cornfield. He gets fucking freaked out, and then he runs, back into the house.
And then he's calm.
But then he's like, let's turn on the TV, right? But then when he goes to Ray Reddy's house, and then Ray Reddy's like, there's one in my pantry, and he goes in, he is like, he's still trying to be like, this isn't real, this isn't happening, because he's like, the police are here, we know it's a hoax.
Oh, he's trying to say it's a human. That's right.
Because he wants to be like, this still isn't happening. It can't.
Is it that he's in denial, or did he just think it was a naked person running through his cornfield? Because did it look not human?
It looked non-human. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just an idiot.
It was. it was freaky. I mean, that's why he got so freaked out.
Oh, I guess so. I guess I just stupidly thought it was a tall person, just had their like lanky leg sticking out in the cornfield.
8-foot dude with
Yeah. But so, and then he does the whole like police thing. We're gonna take you away in a paddy wagon. And then he's like, fuck, that's not convincing. And then he goes and he's trying to see and he doesn't see anything. He sees ketchup and then he walks out and then he's like, you know what? And he runs, goes back. And I was in the like making of the movie thing. M. Night Shyamalan, like the way he was directing Mel was like, okay, so you're gonna like slowly bend down. The first when he just sees the ketchup when he turns it up, you're gonna slowly bend down. You're gonna look. You're not gonna, and then you're gonna like put it back. And then he's like, okay, when you come back, just do the same thing you did, but just like 3 times as fast. So he runs back, grabs a knife, goes down, sees it, hand, and then scream, cut.
Damn. Okay.
So, yeah, that's just another.
It's crazy. Okay.
Thing.
One of the things that I really
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I really liked was a little I don't really want to call them plot devices, but I guess they kind of are. The one-way baby monitor thing. Mm-hmm. How it was like communication, but not at the same time. I think that was done really well. How yeah, I don't know. I like that. That's what I was gonna say.
So to talk about a little trope with the whole baby monitor thing, if you noticed, so the first time they get the connection is when
in the car. Yeah,
when they're all on top of the car, right? And what's the kid's name?
Morgan,
yeah. So Morgan's holding it up and they get the signal. And the signal only gets clear when they're all touching, right? So it's
like an
Uncle
antenna.
Merrill. Yes. But also just to show that, like, you know, togetherness and the whole family aspect.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Probably. Like,
so
family
and then
conquers all.
Yeah. But so that was really interesting. Also about that scene, like they're pretty much like the kids, like Morgan's buying into it. Morgan, like from after he sees a thing on TV, he's like, wow, like this is real, like aliens are here, but no one else is really believing him. Where am I going with this? So and then like, so after, so when they're coming back from town, when he bought the book, that's when they do the baby monitor scene after he has like bought the alien book because he believes that this is happening, but no one else does. And in the car, Joaquin Phoenix is like, is trying to convince him this isn't real. It's like, these are just nerds who don't have girlfriends and they're just trying to get attention, right? But then when Mel Gibson has the baby monitor and then Joaquin Phoenix, like they're reaching over the car and they're both holding it. And then you can hear it, right? And then Mel Gibson is like, this is why people get obsessed. And he's going to move his hand away and the kids are like, no, don't do it, don't move. And then Joaquin Phoenix goes, don't move, you're going to lose the signal. And then like from that moment on, it's like, it's real. Yeah. Like it's real.
Well, at least for Joaquin.
Yeah. But even then, like you can see the look in Mel's eyes. It's like this is
it's kind of like a realization that like, wow, this is really happening.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't truly settle in for him until he chops the fingers off of that hand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because it kind of does with the leg thing, but then it's still, he still is in denial. Like, he's just sitting there in the dining room processing it alone. I mean, not alone. Everyone else is there, but he's in silence. And it's still, like, not clear that he believes it or not. But then it's, like, revealed that he doesn't really. And, like, that's why...
Or he's just... he's still trying to, like, backpedal, like, this could be...
He's still trying to, like, come up with a reason as to why that happened and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, another moment, though, that has to do with the aliens. Like, honestly, I just have so much props to moments when the aliens were revealed or were shown in some capacity. When all the lights are out in the cellar basement type space, and they're like, wait, they're just making noise. They are distracting us. They're not trying to break down the door. First of all, that's like an awesome like plot development there. Where it's just like, oh, yeah, this is like throwing you in a different direction that you weren't expecting. Really, like, oh, they're just distracting you this whole time, because you would have thought that like, oh, they're going to end up breaking down the door at some point. And so they're searching for this like other opening, and then they reveal the coal chute. And as they're like slowly, Meryl and Graham are slowly going across the cellar, and they meet in the middle with the coal chute. and the lights just shine, and you see Morgan standing in front of it.
And he goes, what?
And he goes, what? And then the hand, it was camouflaged into the coal chute.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That is like such
an
awesome moment.
That's another scene that I don't think I've ever watched in full.
I think the aliens in this movie, the way that they're designed is just like, it's reminiscent of like the classic Alien look, but at the same time it puts like a little spin on it. Like it's like like it makes them humanoid, right? It makes them like the classic gray aliens, but it makes them big, like intimidating.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
This is relating to one of the critiques of the movie. This is should I credit the critique that I watched?
I guess
yeah, go for it.
Nostalgia Critic. It has like 1 million views on YouTube.
It is I don't like that guy.
Yeah, he's a little dramatic.
Is this the one that you hated?
Yeah.
Okay, so
his videos. I have nothing against him.
You're about to get mad.
But this video. This video. First of all, just to address the like video, M. Night Shyamalan, the way that he has directed this movie and the way that the plot plays out and the little things that like he like that are in the movie that he doesn't like spoon feed to the audience pretty much. Like there are just a bunch of little things or little metaphors and stuff that no one has to explain out because he like is like this is an intelligent audience that is watching this movie that can figure this out for themselves, or like, you know, they can watch it a few times and they discover new things each time because they're intelligent, they're not stupid, right? And the critic watching this is basically the critic critiquing this, I don't know what his name is critiquing this in the like from the view of pretty much a stupid audience member, someone who's taking these super cheap shots at the movie, and it's like this isn't like they're so surface level, the critiques and the criticisms, that it's just like every single one I can explain, just be like, well, like you think that's dumb, but there's meaning behind that, and if you were to just like fucking think about it, then you wouldn't be so angry. But our
podcast gets canceled because all the Nostalgia Critic fans come and shit on us.
And I was trying to look in the comments to find someone who is like, you're wrong, this isn't right, but everyone was like, yeah, this movie sucks, I don't know why everybody likes it. We'll get into the critiques a little later, and we'll like explain out where did this come from? Where was I talking about?
The aliens.
Right.
You're talking about the look.
Oh, okay. One of the critiques is that the aliens, he was the Nostalgia Critic guy was like, this isn't creative. They look like every other alien we've ever seen, and also the crop circles isn't creative because it's just like something that happened in real life, but then it was a hoax, but now it comes back and it's real, blah 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 blah. Which is like, that's a critique, but it's also so surface level because so M. Night Shyamalan, the way that he has done this is so the people watching it, like they can believe that this could happen, and they are watching this as if like
it's framing it in stuff that's happened.
Exactly. So the crop circles, it's like it's something that's happened before. It's not a completely new like concept to people that aliens could do this, and it's second of all, it's fucking plausible. Like it's plausible that if aliens were real, they would mark like things in this way, and also a lot of crop circles, the ones that were hoaxes, were marked in wheat, right? Because wheat is thin and you can just stomp it down and whatever. But corn is so, like, if you ever seen a corn stalk, like it's so stiff and it's hard. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that's why, like, now the crop circles that are happening currently in the movie are like, there's no way that this, like, humans could have done this in one night, or the scale is just so crazy, and just like it's impossible to bend the corn stalk down without breaking it on this like kind of scale is absolutely insane. So like so it's just so stupid to be like, oh, crop circles, blah blah blah. But and then the aliens thing is like it would be so weird. Like, could you imagine just seeing like like when the aliens were revealed, if they were super super weird looking, like nothing we'd ever seen before? Like it wouldn't. Like it'd be off-putting if it was like this huge thing with tentacles. Like it'd be very off-putting.
Or if it was like a xenomorph from the Alien movies. Yeah. That wouldn't fit.
Yeah, because this movie isn't science fiction, you know? It's like a thriller, it's a drama, it's about faith and whatever. We'll get into that later. But like, so the movie isn't supposed to be science fiction. It's not supposed to be like a lot of the critiques are about like plot holes and how different things like fit in, like the aliens, they'd have to do this, they'd have to have weapons, they'd have blah blah blah.
Yeah, like this isn't an episode of Ancient Aliens here. This is a fucking this is just a fucking thriller. Come on.
And you can explain, I know I'm just like going off, but like you can
go for it.
even the like things that people say, like, oh, they could have, broken down the pantry door, whatever. Like, you can explain that away, and you can say like, this is why they didn't do that, blah blah blah. But also, like, that's not the point of the movie. It's not the point. The movie isn't really about alien invasion, right?
Yeah.
Because if it was, you'd like the only parts you see of this alien invasion is the only thing you see is what the family sees, and you are just experiencing what the family experiences, which is what like. So it's
the
it's
only
just not
reason
about
that I can see people kind of having that. Sorry to cut you off, but the only reason I can like see people having that view of, oh, this is just a movie about aliens, is because at the very end, when they leave the basement and then they get word through the radio, or no, they're still in the basement actually.
Yeah.
They get word through the radio that, oh, a ton of people have died.
Mm-hmm.
Like a ton of people were killed by these aliens, and then they left, and they have the wounded left.
But that's
because we're getting we're getting that brief setting outside of that farmhouse that kind of like would fuck with an audience member that would view it in that way. So that's what I think potentially, I mean, it does make it interesting because it does set up the gas thing and the fact that Morgan was having an asthma attack as he got the gas, so he never got poisoned actually. So
that was interesting. I like that.
So hearing that in the radio, it sets that up. So it does give you context as to, okay, now
so
because
we know what their
we know
what their weapon
happen.
is.
We know
which
what their
is
weapon
the poison
is.
gas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was given to us by the context outside of the family home.
Yes.
But if it wasn't, if it was able to be given another way, they could have gotten rid of the idea that it was happening other places.
I know, but that's not like.
I know, but I'm just saying like in the scenario that people were shitting on it because they were saying it's just an alien movie. Because you get the context of other places in the world.
The criticisms are based from someone viewing it like, oh, this part's, more science fiction or whatever, but it's really
okay.
They're not thinking the whole movie because it's not. But
I redact my point.
Okay, but I just to like the way that this movie is shot is just from the family's perspective, and of course they would be listening to the radio, they would be watching TV, so you are hearing and you are seeing like what you're just experiencing it with them. So it's not really from out, like you're getting some information from like outside, but the information is important, and it's important to the feeling of the movie, and to feel like this is big, this is not just Philadelphia or their little place, this is like the whole world, right? So it's just that having that knowledge like in the back of your head back of your mind while you're watching the rest of this I think is important.
For sure. I want to I still kind of want to go in on the aliens just really briefly.
Yeah. No,
I have this one thing. This is the only point that I have.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong in my assumption here, but it's just kind of looking at how the movie was made, how it was all the way through, and then till the very end. This point, I think, might have also been said by Chris Stuckman in the Pretty Much It commentary track that he did with them.
I watched. I recently watched that, and they did say that. So say your point. Say your point.
So I'm in agreement with what they said in that commentary track that when we get the huge reveal at the end where the alien is holding Morgan hostage, technically.
Yeah.
And he's assuming to be having another asthma attack, potentially. We don't know. He's like knocked out. We get, and specifically the shot where the water gets poured on the alien. I still love this movie, but it slightly takes me out of it just because of how poor the CGI is of the alien in that shot. In that series of shots. So what I believe, I could also just be wrong, but the fact that at this point, Shyamalan had already made The Sixth Sense. He had already made Unbreakable. 2 smash hits that were fantastic movies. So he was trusted probably with a huge budget. I think the budget was $100 million or something like that. I don't know. I could double check it, but
I can look it up right now.
Okay, perfect. So assuming that the budget was that high, it also could have just been a lot of it attributed just to get Mel Gibson on it. I said Morgan Freeman. I meant Mel Gibson. It could have been also because of that, but the
72 million.
Okay, 72 million. So it could be a little different, but it's still a very big budget for such like a low concept thriller in a way. So I feel like that specific shot was put in just because they had the money to use the CGI.
Yeah,
but
that's
the
true.
CGI was not the best quality, in my opinion, for the time, because the movie came out in
So that's War of the Worlds.
Yeah, when did that movie come out? Like, it came
I
out
love War of the Worlds.
2002 is when Science came out. So, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, the first one came out that same year or the year before, depending on where you were, and the effects in that movie are phenomenal for the time.
Yeah.
So
yes, I saw that movie for the first time a while ago.
Yeah, it's also Disney though, so you can't really make the comparison, but it's still like the CGI was like fucking amazing. It blows my mind. We watched it recently.
Is Disney. They are Disney is somehow
Disney
behind.
But Disney must have bought it later.
I don't know, because when I was watching the like document or the behind the scenes thing, like they mentioned Disney a couple of times.
Okay.
But it's not like it's a Disney movie. It's Touchstone, and I think Disney
Touchstone might be owned by
at that point was owned by Disney, but it's not like, of course, it's not like a Disney movie. But
yeah, for sure.
So they definitely didn't have as much, but just to
that makes sense. So like, but like in my opinion though, it's like they had the budget, and M. Night Shyamalan was already a prominent figure with his other great works. He hadn't yet dipped down to shittier movies yet, which I'm saying that just because it's like the basic thing to say that that his other movies are bad. I haven't actually wanted to watch them just because they've been bad, but I'll take the time at some point. They are? Okay, cool. But yeah, like, so there's clearly the money to get the CGI done, and they did it. But there also was probably money to get it to be better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't understand why they treated those specific shots like that, because the rest of that scenario, that sequence, the alien is constantly in shadows. He's constantly, or it's not specified. It's not shown in clear lighting.
Yeah.
Even when you see the camouflaged hand on Morgan's plaid shirt, it's just focused on the hand. You don't see the rest of the body. When it's revealed in that scene, oh my god, it's the best reveal. Not the best, but it's one of the best reveals that I've seen recently.
It's a good reveal,
with,
it's a really good one.
Through the TV reflection. Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm just confused as to why they didn't make everything subjective like that. Because it could have been so cool if even like once the alien dies, it's done through a POV shot. You see the camera is pointed directly at Uncle Merrill, and he's looking right in the camera with the baseball bat. He hits the camera flies back, and you see the water pour over it. You don't see the alien. You don't get that you don't get that lesser CGI.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get it 20 seconds before, which wasn't necessary. They could have done the same specific zoom in like they did on the hand of where the burn starts from the water. And they could have avoided the face, because the face is what was the worst part with the CGI, I believe. Mm-hmm. In the shadows, it looked super cool. It was really innocent.
Definitely.
But whenever he came out, like with the whole thing, he kind of looked like an ape.
It looked like a primate. I was like, this is weird.
It's pretty much just that one shot where the water goes on his shoulder and he's like, nah. That's and the only thing I can say about that I've heard, or like that I heard them say, is they just really wanted to get the point across that like water didn't just like didn't, it's not like they just didn't like water was like acid that would really, really hurt them. So they wanted to show the like shoulder like clearly being very, but I think they could have done it with a really good close up. Yeah, and they could have done it like with the like sizzling of acid sound and like a scream from the alien.
They had the scream.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying they definitely didn't have to show that. There was a point to it, but they could have done it in a better way. But that's pretty much like the only critique that I would have.
Yeah, that's my only like strong point of contention, just because it's like the rest of the scene is phenomenal. The way that they kind of go around avoiding showing it in its true light, which really kind of is still super satisfying in that scene. And it's still very scary because all that you see is that, oh yeah, Morgan's in trouble. You see the thing coming out of the wrist with the gas. Even that shot, it's still super sick because like it's still shrouded in this slight shadow and everything. And you just see this little, I don't know, pipe come out of the alien's wrist, ready to shoot the gas out.
Like a worm sort of thing.
Yeah, or like kind of like the Assassin's Creed thing,
like
where
a
they have like the blades.
Yeah, the hidden blade.
Like a Wolverine type
the Wolverine type beat. Like it's
not
like,
important. Anyway,
it's like a noodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a noodle. Oh my god, it looks like a tiny pool noodle that shoots gas. But yeah, with that, it's like so good. So I'm just confused. Like I still love the movie. Don't want to put hate on it, but that's just the one thing I'm like. It could have been so. You could have easily just kept it the same way.
Yeah.
As you began it.
Even having the alien, like, it's one thing if we saw it, like, through the TV reflection or whatever the whole time, but even when it's just in the shadows, I think it's still really effective.
Like, I'm saying they could have done that whole sequence there, too.
Yeah.
Or, like, just, why wasn't it a close-up on the skin?
Or,
that could have still been so cool. Or you just kind of see the water go down, and then you just get a quick, like, maybe 1 second, 2 second flash of the skin burning and the scream. You get the point across.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more subjective, but that's the whole scene was subjective. You see it, you initiate it by a television reflection, which if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have seen it. Yeah. Really. Like if you weren't if you're like somebody that is just watching the movie for the first time and aren't really too interested, you would not catch that reflection.
The movie
it's a movie you have to invest in.
Yeah, but like it's done so well that like you are invested and you are like leaning forward the whole time. So like you would like I can see how you could miss that if you were distracted, but like if you were watching, there's no like yeah. Anyways, okay, I can talk about some of the like metaphors and stuff, or other little Easter eggs. Sure. What do you want?
I kind of want to also like hear more about like Jesus. Was there like moments in it that like was there moments in the movie that kind of surprised you in like the way its storytelling went, or like moments that like things that were revealed in ways that you weren't expecting them to be? Because there's a few things like that in it.
I think we covered most of those. Okay. Most of those thingies. But I will say, this is just like a thing that I noticed that I kind of like, is that I've always liked the idea of a baseball bat or any sort of like a classic, just something that's not normally used as a weapon, right? Okay. And something that's a little off topic is there's a video game called Off made by like the RPG builder thing like that. Okay. And what's really cool is that it's like in like a dystopia little world and stuff like that, but the main character, it's kind of like a Pokemon, sort of like a turn-based fighting game, right? Except the main character is a batter. Like that's his entire thing. Yeah, like his primary weapon is a baseball bat. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. That but with the Joaquin Phoenix and the bat.
It isn't conventional. It's a
really, yeah.
It's neat. It brings back like his whole arc.
Kind of.
And it's, it's what they had. It's not like they had a lot of time to think about what they should do. Yeah. Right?
And the thing, I think this would answer your question a little bit more, is the priest and the accident. They would bring it back in bits and pieces. And then you're always kind of wondering, it's like, what? It's like, what does that really have to do with anything right now? And then they kind of, I don't want to say they do it badly, but it kind of feels like they kind of shoved that in at the end with the baseball bat.
Yeah, that was one of the critiques of the guy that I watched. And what I can say to that is like watching it now, I don't feel that way, but I understand how people can see it like that. But it's just like the way that Graham's mind works is so like every time he falls asleep is when we are getting a like flashback scene. Like that is the only thing that he thinks about, right? And that's what he's thinking about all the time. And that's what his dreams have been about, like in these days leading up to the end of the story, right? I think like it's just always on his mind. So everything, like he's seeing these events and he can just relate it so easily to that moment in time. So then it's like in that moment that he really, because he dreamt about that night, like right before the last scene happens, right? Which is also an interesting thing that the characters were all asleep for like the main alien invasion.
That's true.
But I think it's done in an effective way where there isn't like a big like a huge, dramatic CGI fight scene or anything like that.
It doesn't feel out of place per se. The entire conflict that he has, it just seems like they could have tied it in with the story a little better.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, it does.
But it didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the last conversation. It kind of like when you see him the wife pass away. It's kind of like, okay, this moment was to instigate the baseball bat.
Yeah,
but it's also kind of like, it also gives closure on. Now we get to know why it was so difficult for Graham's character to like kind of constantly have to think about this, because it's like, he was literally there when she died and stuff. You finally get the understanding of that whole scene.
What I can say to that is the wife's death is pretty much what sets off this whole like, domino of like coincidences or whatever. So it's like the wife's death, so the wife is gone, and she says swing away, and then the family begins to sort of like fall apart. Graham loses his faith, and Meryl has to come and live with them, and but the other two things are the kids both of their like weaknesses, whatever, the water and the asthma have both been from like for their whole lives, right? But I watched this guys who was like he's like a Christian guy who was talking about this movie, because the movie is like about God and faith and stuff like that, or just fate and stuff like that. Anyways, he was saying because some of the critiques are like, so God God really had to kill the wife for this all to happen. Like, he didn't really have to kill the wife, did he? Because if you look at it, like, God killed the wife so that they would survive this alien attack, but then everything goes pretty much back to normal because he becomes priest, the family's okay, and but now he doesn't have a wife, right? So yikes, bummer. But what this Christian guy was saying, I'm not religious myself, but it was just interesting to hear his point of view, was that like, in the world in the movie, God didn't kill his wife, because that would be like, God wouldn't do something that cruel to a person. But it's he took that horrible thing that happened, and he was able to turn it into something that would bring the family back together, right? And where everything would come back together in the end, and everything would be okay. So like,
with the global alien invasion.
So like, God, whatever, I know this is getting really gaudy, but anyways, nice. So like, God didn't give Morgan asthma, God didn't like kill the wife, but like, he used these things.
But God did put those glasses around the house.
It's like a prophecy.
I'm just joking.
Okay. Also the glasses were always in groups of 3. Because the Holy Trinity.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dang
also,
it.
water's the weakness, because it's like holy water.
I was trying to argue. I was just about to try to make the argument that it was more about faith than like Christianity, but dang, you completely disrupted that, because you're so right then.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, you can look at, because like the tiny things, you can look at it from any angle. You can look at it from like faith, but you can also look at it as fate, and for that family, fate is God, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's what I was trying to think. I was thinking that the movie could be like, it's contextualized with Christianity because it's like this rural community, and that's like, you typically would associate Christianity with these rural communities, farm towns and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was thinking about it. It's like, okay, so
that's true.
M. Night Shyamalan was trying to like create this like whole thing about faith or faith in anything, faith in something can like bring you security, can bring you closure on anything, as long as you have faith in something. But they just chose to contextualize it with Christianity. But with those things that you mentioned, though, like, I didn't realize it was 3 glasses, but now that I'm thinking about it, you're definitely right, because every shot with the glasses, it's sequenced in 3. That seems too coincidental. I think you're right. It could just easily be. Yeah. It's just Christianity. So I was wrong in thinking that, but it also could just be in whoever's interpretation.
It's like a super tiny thing. So yeah, it's like interpretation. I was also going to say, I didn't notice this. This is something I learned. The house, this is about the set, okay? So a little bit about the set. They built the house. Like, they went to this place in Delaware, this huge plot of land, and they actually grew all of the corn.
Oh my god.
So really?
The corn, so they grew the corn, and the crop circles are all real.
Wow.
Even the ones on TV are real, actually.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So all the crop circles are real, and they grew the corn to make the crop circles themselves, but the house is actually painted like red, white, and blue, because it's supposed to be like the quintessential like American, like, you know, household.
It's supposed to be like the American dream.
To have corn in your front yard.
I don't know. There's a couple references.
I have corn in my front yard.
Nice. So yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I never even noticed. That's actually a cool detail though about the painting of the houses.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed it either.
Returning to one point though that I forget. I think actually it was you, Jesus, that just mentioned it. The whole thing with they were asleep during the main invasion. Like, what would have been the main...
Was that me?
Like, action...
That
that
was me.
was you, Laura. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I don't remember who... Sorry. Okay.
We have a similar voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why.
It. But yeah, that kind of... As soon as you said that, it reminded me a lot of... Laura, you've definitely never watched this movie because it's kind of a horror movie and you hate it. But Jesus, you might have seen it. Yeah. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I don't like that movie.
You don't like
but
that
I've
movie?
seen it. I've seen it. No,
really?
I don't. Yeah.
Oh, like when Laura said that, I was like, okay, that kind of reminds me of that movie because it's like you don't get to know what's happening at all on the outside world throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Until the very end of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which the ending could have been done better. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I still really liked it just because like I love the first Cloverfield.
Yeah.
It like ties in the universe together really well. But yeah, the whole premise of like not knowing what's really going on and just kind of basing assumptions on what's going on around you is so cool.
Yeah,
and, like,
I think so. If it's done right.
Done right, yeah. Which to me, 10 Cloverfield Lane did it right. Jesus, you said you didn't like the movie. That's completely reasonable. A lot of people hated that movie. But yeah, like just kind of that setting of, well, it's typically like you're underground and you're in like some bunker and you don't know what's going on. But like similar things happened with an amazing thriller that I absolutely love, Take Shelter. A similar premise is done. Take Shelter, actually, that's one that I'm going to have to show you, Laura. It's not scary, so don't worry.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
There's no jump scares at all.
Okay,
there's so many. It's like, it's
Jesus,
really I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Jesus, why?
I was like, oh no way, absolutely no way.
Jesus, what are you trying to do? I'm not trying to trick her at all. I'm really not.
It's a joke, bro.
You've done it before.
I'm so sorry. I felt bad. We tricked her that we were going to say that we weren't watching a horror movie. Then we ended up watching a horror movie.
Then they did, and I was like, okay, I'm leaving then. And then they were like, pussy. Oh, you're so lame. That's literally what you said.
I'm so sorry.
Anyways,
that was like a year ago.
That's just a personal grudge with our host.
I'm gonna cut that out of the podcast. No, no, I'm kidding. But anyways, like the movie Take Shelter though, it's like very similar vibe because it's like the characters. It's amazing. It has Michael Shannon, who's a super underrated actor. I absolutely love, but he.
Didn't he play General Zod?
Yes, he played General Zod in Man of Steel. He played I forget his name. He played the brother with the cane in Knives Out. I forget the character's name.
Yeah, I remember him too. Yeah,
but Michael Shannon, amazing actor, and like in this movie, it's like mainly his character and kind of his family starts to turn like kind of the same conspiracy vibes as Morgan has in Signs, and then it slowly bleeds into Uncle. Oh my God, what's Joaquin Phoenix's character's name?
Uncle Meryl.
Meryl.
Yeah.
And then it slowly bleeds into Meryl and Bo, and then finally Graham agrees with it. So similar vibe with Take Shelter, but it's just done so well. Because like there's a similar thing of like, okay, you're thinking that something is happening out in the world right now. Similar with Signs with this alien invasion thing, but it's not an alien invasion. In Take Shelter, it's something else, which I won't say because I want. But if you're a listener, please watch this movie if you haven't. It's amazing. But it's like you don't know if something's really happening or not. And that's like the whole movie. It's like you want to believe that it's happening. You're meant to believe that these characters aren't going crazy, but you never know. And that's like what's so good. Sorry, Jesus, go ahead.
There was have you ever seen the movie? What is it? How the world ends? I don't know, something like that. It's on Netflix, right? It's about like an apocalypse sort of thing, and there's a dude in a Cadillac, and then like he has to go see his wife in like Seattle or something like that.
How the world ends?
What was it called? How it ends? How it ends? Yeah, you heard of it?
I think I've definitely.
Okay, so like the entire.
I've seen it on Netflix. Yeah. I haven't watched it though.
The entire premise is like there's like something happening around you. Yeah, you don't see anything going on at all. You just kind of see it from the perspective of the characters that's like that what they're seeing, right? I will say the movie didn't really do it all that good, but it was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it like?
It just really reminded me.
Were they trying to bird box shit?
Yeah, kind of, but like everything was just kind of hinted at, like it's an apocalypse sort of thing.
Okay.
Where like there's like this weird some starts happening to the Earth, but you never actually know what it is. And you just see everything happening in the wake of everything. You see like these huge like natural disasters and stuff, and it's just completely unexplainable. Man.
Yeah, those ones are
the
always.
ending would make a lot of sense to mention, but I don't really want to.
That's all right.
I don't want to like make anybody. I don't want to ruin it.
Makes sense, but like definitely true that movies that are like so subjective with that stuff are, at least to me, so much more fulfilling than movies that just.
If they explain it, at the end.
Like or like if it's just like, oh yeah, so like this is actually what was going on. You guys were all wrong, and it's like you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to like. Everything could have just happened. You didn't need to give like reasons behind all that stuff. Like for example, like the blockbuster movie 2012. We didn't need to get the whole like. I mean, it was interesting. It's not the best movie, but like we didn't need to be like, great. Oh, all these. It was really good CGI, actually. Yeah, it was like we didn't need to get the whole thing of like these earthquakes are not normal. Oh no, these are coming out in weird ways. And it's like, come on, you could have just thrown us in as like a citizen, not getting any of that scientific information, just seeing the city getting destroyed. Yeah. That would have been cool. That would have been interesting. But then you always have to get the perspective of the scientist that knows what's going on. But like in science, like we don't get that. We just get like kind of like we get the hints that citizens would have regularly gotten.
Yeah, and that's I want to talk about the more popular critiques, which kind of relates to that, which is like people saying, the aliens had so much trouble with the pantry door, right? The aliens supposedly could, run super fast and get on the roof super fast, but they couldn't break out of a pantry door, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say they don't know how knobs work.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is if you were stuck in an alien's pantry, you wouldn't know how to get out of there, right?
You could probably bust down the door. Look at that thick door.
Yeah, exactly. And there was 2 tables,
double cheeked up door.
And the alien door, the alien did get out. It did get out because it was able to bust out of that door and eventually, come back into their house.
Yeah.
And the other thing was like, oh, so they boarded up the windows, but when the aliens come, like they couldn't knock down those either. And it was like the aliens, they tried, but they weren't going to waste any of their time on stuff that they couldn't, like, they were trying to find the easiest spot to get in. Yeah. And doors that were locked with boards nailed over them is not the easiest way to get in. So they got on the roof and they found, they got into the attic, right?
Yeah. Oh,
they got into the attic first. They broke in, like, through a window or whatever. And because that's the easiest way to get in because they didn't board up the windows in the attic and they didn't board up the door to the
entrance,
attic.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then they, they're just trying to find the quickest way because another thing is these aliens are desperate because this is what connects to the other criticism is of why would these aliens, if they're so smart and so advanced, whatever, which also, like, we don't know. Like, how do we know that they're so smart and they're so advanced?
We just kind of assume because they're aliens.
Yeah, that they're hostile and they, like, there's nothing to show that these aliens are super, super smart. It's just,
to be fair, they did achieve, like, interplanetary travel.
Yes. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So the water thing. So why would aliens come to a planet that's 70% water? Blah blah blah. And it's like, well, there are planets out there, right, that have elements that we probably don't know of, or there's stuff that's on there that we don't know if that would, harm us or hurt us. But we just don't know, and we wouldn't know until we, like, figured it out and got there, that this is something that would hurt us. So these aliens didn't know. And the second part is they probably didn't take time to know because they are desperate, and there's multiple hints to the desperation of these creatures. The fact that they're not really taking their time with this takeover. It's like 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Where they come and they try to, harvest humans or whatever the heck. But either way, these aliens are, desperate to find a new place to live or whatever.
What do you think they're doing, actually? Do you think they're harvesting humans? Like, what do you think they're doing?
Don't think that it matters what they are doing. I don't think that, like, I don't. I had
a bad question.
No. Sorry. I don't think that it is, like, it is a good question, but to the, for the movie's sake, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I would just like another thing that you can, another little, like, Easter egg type of thing is the scene. This is probably it's my favorite scene in the movie, but I still probably haven't watched the whole thing. The like found footage sort of scene on the news when the alien, like, walks past.
Yeah.
That is, like, the scariest, still to this day, the scariest scene I've ever seen in any movie.
Classic alien scene.
Yeah.
So good.
And it's so, one of the critiques was like, why, like, that's what we see of the alien? Like, why don't we get this beautiful, reveal of this? Like, that's all we get? And I'm like, that's why it's so effective. Like, it's just so scary because you still don't really know, like, what it is, right?
Yeah, it's like, do you want a burlesque show revealing the alien? I don't think so.
Yeah. So, the other thing is at the beginning, so when they're filming the little alley, right? On the right, there is, like, the leaves, and on the left is the wall. And if you look in the leaves, the alien has, like, camouflage. It's not just walking by; it's, like, crouching in the leaves.
Yeah.
And waiting.
No way.
Because
really?
and then it stands up and it looks and it kind of walks past and it looks and it sees that, like, people saw it.
Oh my god! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But this is another hint at the, like, desperation. This alien is alone. It's hiding. Right. It's not trying to hurt, like, currently it's not trying to hurt anybody, right?
Yeah, not yet.
And this is what the aliens are like at the beginning, like the whole probing thing that the military guy was talking about. Like, that is sort of what they were doing. They were feeling out the area. And when it's on the roof, when Mel Gibson sees it on the roof. Anyways, so yeah, that's just to say that these aliens are so desperate they didn't have the time or maybe even the knowledge to figure out that, this watery planet was going to hurt them.
Yeah. Also, like, such a cool initial reveal. The shadow on the top of that barn.
Yes.
That is so sick.
And I thought so too.
Terrifying. It's
terrifying
so scary.
For Laura.
Yeah, because there's no, that's another, or one of the scenes where there's no, like, build up. There's no, like, is something going to jump out? Is something going to jump out?
You just
it's
get
just
it.
There, and you see it as if, like, you just look, like, you see it as, as Graham sees it when he just looks over and he sees it on, like, behind the chimney or whatever.
Yeah, all you get is, there's a monster outside my window. Can I get a glass of water? Boom! Then you just
and then you see
alien.
You see there's a monster outside my room. Can I get a glass? And
not in sequence like that, but it's like
but it's funny because she's like I don't think she actually saw it. Like, maybe she thought she dreamed it. Maybe she did see it, but or she's just, that's what she says because she wants a glass of water and she has to be like, "There's a monster. Can I have a glass of water?"
Yeah,
because she's so calm when she says it.
Which is also just like,
Why are those
such a cute, innocent line? Honestly,
why are those one and the same though? Like, there's a monster, and so may I have a glass of water? Like,
yeah,
that is an interesting like correlation. But then again, like that character.
But she just has these
she's
like obsession.
Hyper-fixated on water all the time. So it does make sense.
Yeah, and she gets up, and you know, when you were a kid, you got up and you said, "Can I have a glass of water?"
Yeah, for sure.
To your parents.
But yeah, like that introduction to the alien is just so abrupt, and you don't even know it's an alien yet because it just looks like a humanoid figure. It could have really been
a really big dude.
Or like the Lionel and the whatever
the
boys
Wolfington brothers.
And the Wolfington brothers, whatever the hell. But like also, this is also kind of a criticism, but this is just in my opinion in watching the movie again yesterday. First of all, the title, like the opening credits with that music, it's phenomenal. It's like so good. It really gets you in the vibe of the movie with like the whoomp of all the titles. However, I really would have thought it would have been so cool if signs, like the word signs, appeared after the zoom out of the crop circles happened. So like we didn't get the title until the zoom out happened, and then signs just appeared.
Was there a title?
It was in like all those flashed in zoomed title cards at the beginning. But that's like my one thing. That would have been so cool.
Yeah. My rebuttal to this is that from the beginning of the movie, I am just like so sucked in, right? And I'm like this, like the acting is so well done that you like I'm not sitting there thinking like I'm watching or like this is a movie. These are actors. Like it is like you are there. It is like you are, you know, in the house with the family. And I just felt like if there was a title card. Signs like after 5 minutes in or so after the movie had started, I feel like that would have brought me out of the world a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Let's take some of the immersion, huh?
Opinion. Oh, there's paint. Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Anyway, I guess I understand that point. Yeah, for sure. I guess it's just me and my brain thinking like that's like such a great oh god, what's the word? Oh my god, what's the word? No. Oh no, my brain. Come on, film student brain, just work.
You
not
just
an
thought
exposition
a missed opportunity. Is what you want to say?
No. Well, it is a missed opportunity, but like they could have like it's because like that panned out or that zoomed out shot of the crop circles is just so perfect in setting the scene of the whole movie. Like because it just starts out, you got Graham and Caroline standing in the middle of the circle.
And they're just, so small.
And they're so small, and then they zoom out, and then it's just like
it's a tiny part of this big.
And then it's just like there's just one little speck in this big wide world. There's some stupid like analogy like that. Yeah. But it's like it really gives you that setting of like they're way in over their head than what they truly think is happening. And so like there, it's just like, oh yeah, the crop circle is the literal sign. They could have just put signs. I'm like that could have been cool, but that's just me, just giving my opinion on that. Like people can disagree. I don't care. I just think it would have been looking nice.
Yeah. And there's one more critique I can talk about. At the beginning when Houdini pees, and they come back in, or Houdini peed, like I think he's sick, right? And then Graham says, like take him outside. I will call. I don't know what his name is, but a doctor. And then Morgan says he doesn't treat animals because he's a doctor, not a veterinarian. And then he says he'll know what to do, right? But then later, when Graham goes to Ray Reddy's house, they show the mailbox and it says Ray Reddy, veterinarian, right? So he didn't want to call the vet
because the vet killed his wife.
So that's just another little tidbit there.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
And then one last critique that I was going to talk about was the critique of how, like, emotionless people think that some of the acting is, especially of Morgan. Like, he doesn't have these big reactions to stuff that might merit a big reaction. Like,
isn't that his character? Like,
yeah, and also, it's also just, a lot of the reactions is him talking with his father, and his father he has become to feel so disconnected from, because Morgan still, has his faith. When he sees the cropsicles, he says, I think God did it. And he gets really upset when Graham doesn't want to say a prayer before their dinner. And so Graham still has his faith, and he resents his father because, he's supposed to, his father has lost his faith. So Graham is so emotionless is because this is the life that he is living with his dad, and he doesn't, the mom died pretty recently. So this family is just like numb pretty much to all this stuff that's happening. So I think that the acting is, and also just to give the whole atmosphere of like something's wrong, right? Throughout the whole movie, something is wrong. So if these kids aren't acting exactly as they they should in real life, or we can assume they would in real life, it's because like something is wrong. And
but I think that closes out the podcast.
Right.
We'll just briefly plug Laura. Laura does art, and so she's doing commissions a bunch now. So she's making all kinds of stuff, like homemade jewelry. She's doing portraits of people. If you want to do
not related to movies at all.
Not related to movies at all, but hey, you're a guest. If you want
some money, I am a poor college student.
So if you're interested in any type of art commission, you can find her on Instagram at Laura_Ness.
No, Laura. I changed it. Laura _ Pohl POHL 23.
Okay, Laura _ Pohl POHL 23.
Yeah.
On Instagram for art commissions.
Yeah.
Like we said at the beginning, if you really like the podcast, shoot us a follow on Spotify or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be posting every single week, hopefully, unless there's something that happens. Probably.
I'll be back one of these times as well.
Okay. Well, anyways, we love you guys all so much. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, they didn't say love you back. Oh.